I'm Jenny Fish from One Big Happy Yarn Company, and welcome to the Libby Lace Scarf and Hat Knit Along. In this episode, we're going to be making this scarf, this lovely lace heart motif. I'm going to show you how to work this using a chart. It's knit flat, so there's some finagling and decoding of the chart, and I'm going to walk you step by step through how to make it. So go ahead, go to onebighappy.com, get your kit. The kit includes the yarn, plus the pattern for both the scarf and the hat, and let's get started. Starting out, we're going to talk about pattern and supplies. I'm going to talk about the pattern first. This is a lace pattern. It's more of an intermediate range. It's very helpful if you already know how to knit and purl and have the basic concepts of knitting down. The main focus of this pattern is going to be, I'm going to show you how to read the chart for knitting the scarf, which is knit flat, and for knitting the hat, which is knit in the round. And there's a little bit of difference there, but we'll go over it. The supplies that we'll be using is the sheep cheese yarn. We have an example here using the Monos silk blend. So both of these will be available in kits online. The kits include the pattern and the yarn that you will need to make the projects. Both the hat and the scarf are in the same pattern, and the yarn for both of those will be in the kit. So you can make both of them with just one kit. So some of the supplies that you'll be needing is a US size 7 knitting needle. We're knitting flat here for the scarf, so you can use circular needles if you prefer, or you can use straight needles. Either one will work for you. There's a few little twisted stitches that we'll be using a cable needle for, or you can use a double pointed needle, whatever you prefer. You'll also want a bent tip tapestry needle, or whatever kind of tapestry needle. I just prefer the bent tip. You will need 2 round stitch markers and 1 locking stitch marker. A row counter is very helpful, but we'll also be using a pattern keeper. This little guy right here, you put your pattern in there and it'll help you keep your spot. So either one of those will work well, or you can use them in combination to help keep you on track. I've got scissors and tape measure. We will be knitting to length after the repeat, so you'll want to keep track of your measurements there. And very, very helpful for this project because it's lace, you'll need a blocking mat and some blockers or some kind of way to block your work. So you see how this is all stretched out like that? You'll want to do that because it's a lace project, and I'll show you about that when we get to the blocking portion. Those are our supplies. Let's get cast on. Here I've gone ahead and cast on the 30 stitches that are needed for this project. You want to work 6 rows of seed stitch, and this will all be in the pattern, but I also wanted to just kind of go over seed stitch for you real quick. That is where you knit 1 stitch, purl 1 stitch, and then you just repeat knit, purl all the way across. So I'm going to show you here real quick, and very simple. You just knit 1 stitch and purl 1 stitch. And so you should already, have the concept of knit and purl, but you'll do this back and forth 6 times. When you flip to the other side, when you're on the wrong side of your work, then purl the knits and knit the purls. And then when you flip it back around, you do the same thing. You purl the knits and knit the purls. So you'll see that as you go along. Once you get your border, that's the seed stitch border. It's 6 rows of the seed stitch. Then you dive into the chart. We are knitting flat on a chart. I have some helpful hints for you. This is what the chart looks like in the pattern, and I have made a copy and blown it up so I can see it better. My first tip is you will notice in the key here that there is an open block. See that open block there? It says knit on right side. That's RS, means right side. Purl on wrong side. So this block here means 2 different things. When you're looking at the right side of your work, you're going to knit. When you're looking at the wrong side of your work, you're going to purl. To keep myself on track and to keep my mind from getting confused on, am I on the right side, am I on the wrong side? First step is I use the locking stitch marker and mark the right side of my fabric immediately so I know where it's at. And the second is I have highlighted the wrong side instructions, and then up here in the chart I have highlighted each of the wrong side rows. So as you get going, you'll really see that that helps. When you see that it's highlighted, oh, I'm on the wrong side, so I'm doing what the highlighted area tells me to do. So I hope that kind of helps with that as you get into it. We also have our little magnetic pattern keeper over here, and it's very easy to use. It's magnetized. There's metal here, and then you have these little magnet strips. I put these little holders here, and then use this to show me what row of the pattern I'm on. And after I finish a row, I can move it up and I'm there. I can move it up and I'm there. If you don't have one of these pattern keepers, you can also use sticky notes and you can move those up. It helps if you, I like to overlap them like this here. So they're all stuck together, and then when I go to the next, then I move up to here. And that's if I didn't have a pattern keeper, that's another way. And then there's also the addition of highlighter tape, which is really cool. It's got the same sticky like on the back of a Post-it note where you can just pick it up and move it and pick it up and move it, and it's not a permanent. So those are some options to help keep you on track with your chart. Let's get into some of the stitches that we'll be working on. So on my sample here, I am all ready to row 5 because that's got the things I want to show you next on there. The rest of it, you have your seed stitch border, and then you start your chart and you start working your chart. One of the things I want to show you is on each side, and let me show you on a finish actually. Here is our seed stitch border where we started out, and see this border on the side here, that's going to stay in seed stitch, and then our chart is actually worked right through here. So in the pattern it'll tell you where to place your marker, but that's what you're going to see here is I have this marker here that indicates the end of my border and where I'm going to start my charting. And also too, the locking stitch marker is on the right side of my fabric, my scarf here, so that I know that's the right side, because as we're working these stitches, when you're working seed stitch, it looks the same on both sides. So you need some kind of indicator to keep you on track and let you know where you're at. So right now I'm on row 5 and I'm going to work that real quick. I've got my marker, my magnet right there. Yeah, we're going to start row 5 here. And you're working this way because you're on the wrong side. So when you're on the right side, you're working from right to left. When you're on the wrong side, you work from left to right. And on here, our number 5 is right here. So that shows me that's where I'm going to start. And my first box is filled with a dot. It's highlighted, so I know I'm on the wrong side. So when I look at my key, I look for the dot and then the wrong side. So I knit that stitch instead of purl it because I'm on the wrong side of the work. Now I'm going to go ahead and work my border. Here I have placed a stitch marker 4 stitches in. That's also in your pattern when you're down here. That's what that's for, to indicate that only those first 4 stitches are worked in seed stitch, which is I'm going to knit the purls and purl the knits. Just like that. Now I'm diving into the chart. Slide that. So here I am. Here's my stitch. That's where I'm at. Okay, I'm going to move that up there so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to knit 8 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now the box is changed so that it's just an empty box. I go back to my key. I see the empty box. I'm on the wrong side. It says purl on wrong side. So those empty boxes are now purls. So I bring the yarn forward and I am purling. Let's see, how many is there? There's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the rest of them are knit stitches because I'm on the wrong side. So I'm going to just take my yarn to the back and go ahead and knit till I get to the stitch marker. See, this was a challenge for me. The whole back, the whole wrong side, right side knit purl. And I wrote this pattern. But it was a challenge and I succeeded and I'm very happy with the result. Okay, so I've slipped my stitch marker. Now I'm back into the border stitch, which is that seed stitch. So I am going to knit the purls and purl the knits. So this is a knit stitch, or I mean a purl stitch, and how we know that is there's the bump underneath there. Let me show you right here. See that? That's a purl. So I'm going to knit that one. And then this stitch doesn't have that bump, so I'm going to purl it. That's a good indicator to show you what you need to do there and help keep on track there. Now I'm turning my work over. I have my locking stitch marker here that shows me I am on the right side of my project. I am moving my magnetic bar up. I am now on row 6 and I'm starting on this side to read my chart going this way. And I'm on the right side. So the square with the dot in the middle, when I look at my key, that tells me I'm purling. So I'm going to purl 7 stitches. And that's after my border. I jumped ahead on the chart again. You always work your border. Don't start your chart until you're in between your 2 stitch markers that are on your needle. This first stitch here is a knit stitch, so we're going to purl it. A purl stitch, we're going to knit it. I'm just so excited to show you guys about this chart and how to read it. Also, too, one thing you will see on the chart, it says it's an 18-row repeat. It's referring to from here to here is 18 rows, and then you start all over again. So that's what that little note there means. We are on row 6. We are on the right side, which is also indicated from our stitch marker here. It's telling me I'm on the right side of my fabric. I am going to purl these stitches. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, we have a new symbol to look at. See this right here? It's a cross. We're going to go to our key and look at that and make sure it's going in the same direction, and it's a 1/1 right cross. Now, I will say for this pattern for this chart in our pattern, the paper pattern and the PDF version, we have instructions in chart format and also written out row by row. So if following the chart gets a little confusing for you, you can go straight to the line by line by line instructions and not even have to look at the chart. Don't get yourself confused. You're only going to do one or the other. You're going to follow the line by line or you're going to follow the chart. Otherwise, working them together would get you, I don't know what. You'd get confused. It wouldn't turn out right. So pick one that works for you. I would say try one, and if you're getting confused, then revert back to the other one because you have your rows marked on here so you could, double check yourself. I do that a lot when I'm starting a new lace pattern that I'm not familiar with, is I will look at both of them the first time and go, okay, make sure, and maybe even through the first repeat, I'll look at the line by line instructions and the chart to make sure that I'm on the same page. And then slowly I just put the line by line instructions to the side and go straight to the chart and keep with that. Once I get the pattern memorized and get the symbols, knowing what they are and getting them memorized. So now we are working a 1/1 right cross. There's a couple different ways you can do this. One is with a cable needle. One is with a double pointed needle, whichever you prefer. So a right cross. I'm going to slow down for just a second and show you really what this is. We are taking this stitch right here and we are crossing it to the right. So we're switching these two stitches. This one is going to go from in the back and over here, and this one's going to stay forward. And that's what gives us, see this line right here, how that stitch is kind of slanted to the right? There was a 1/1 right cross down here, and that's how I got that motion. So I'll show you how you make that. You slip the first stitch onto your cable needle or a double pointed needle, and you hold that to the back. And then you knit the next stitch, just like that. And then you bring this forward and you knit right there like that. Now what I've done is I've swapped those two stitches and I have created that cross right there. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my chart, and my next instruction has a box with a slash mark going to the right. When I go to my key, it tells me that that is a knit two together. The K2 tog means knit two together. We've done that before, but I'll show you. You just put your needle through two stitches, just like this, and you knit those two together, like that. Then the next instruction is a box with a circle in it. We go back to our key, and a box with a circle in it means yarn over. So for a yarn over, you take your yarn and you wrap it around your right needle. And then the next one is another yarn over. So this is a double yarn over. I just wrap my yarn again, just like that. I've just done that. Now I have a box with the slash mark going to the left. I go to my key, and that tells me it's an SSK. Now we've worked SSKs before. It's a decrease. It stands for slip, slip, knit. So I'll show you how we do that. Slip as if to knit, slip as if to knit, and then slide in there. Your right needle is under your left needle because you've just slipped in through the back loop, and you knit those two together just like that. That's an SSK. Now when we look at the next one, it is a 1/1 left cross. It's going to the left. So what we're doing here is we're crossing this stitch over here. This stitch is going to come behind and rest over here, and this stitch is going to go over there, and it's going to look like this stitch right here when we're done. So to do that, I slide this first stitch onto my cable needle and I hold it to the front of my work. I knit the next stitch. Then I bring this one up and I knit into the stitch there. And so now I've successfully crossed that stitch over the other stitch and done a 1/1 left cross. And it looks like that. And then I go back to my chart and I'm purling all the way back across. Now I want to show you row 7, even though basically it's all knit and purl. But remember down here where we did 2 yarn overs right next to each other? When you get to the wrong side of your work, it looks a little tricky. So I want to show you how to work that. Okay. I am on the wrong side of my work, and I've come to the point where on the other side I had done 2 yarn overs, and basically you can see it right here. It's 2 wraps around that needle, no base stitches to hold them in place. So the thing about lace is it has holes in it that gives us a design. This is a hole in the fabric to give us a design, and having 2 yarn overs gives you a bigger hole, adds to the design factor of the heart. But when we're coming across and we're working this way, we're knitting across or purling across, and if you purl it, it gets a little wonky. So what we're going to do is we're going to knit the first one and then come back and purl the second yarn over just like that. and it locks those stitches in, just gives it a nicer base. And then we go on and continue following the directions on our chart. Okay, so I want to show you on the finished scarf what that looks like. Bring this over here. So right here, this bigger hole, that's where we did the 2 yarn over. It's just a design feature. It just makes it pop a little. You can really see it on this one right here, right here. Just a design feature that I really liked, so I put that in there. And that's how you work that double yarn over on both sides. Okay, we're going to continue on with our chart, following these instructions. I've showed you all the stitches and how they're worked up until we get to here, which is row 14. And our little crisscrosses have changed a little, so I want to show you how to make those. Okay, so I'm on row 14 now. First thing I need to remember, work my border stitches. So I'm going to work up to my stitch marker, and then we'll take a look at the pattern. 1, 2. You're going to see a new symbol. We've got a little X that is slanted to the right, but the bar on the back of it is grayed out, slanting to the left. So we need to go back to our key and go, oh, what is this stitch? So as we look at it, it's a 1/1 RPC. So the 1/1 RPC stands for right purl cross. So we'll work up to that, and then I'll show you how to make that right purl cross, the 1/1 RPC. So first thing I'm going to do, because I am on the right side of my work, I'm going to purl 4 and knit 5, and then I'll be ready to make that stitch. So I'll bring the yarn to the front. I'm going to purl 4. So what I'm going to do is take, now you can use a double pointed needle or a cable needle. You slide that stitch on to your cable needle, and we're going to hold it in the back, and we are going to knit the first stitch. Now here's the difference. Now what we're going to do is bring our stitch forward that's on the cable needle, bring our yarn forward, and we're going to purl the needle or the stitch off of the cable needle. So now we're purling the stitch off of the cable needle, and what that has created for us is the 1/1 right cross. I'm going to get a good look at this for you here. Here is the knitted stitch going to the right, and now we've got a purl stitch right here, and that's going to add to the design of our heart pattern and having the difference between the knitted stitch going this way and then the purl stitch there. It's giving it some texture, basically, is what that is. Now as we look at the next one, it looks similar, but it's going the other way. So now we're doing a 1/1 left purl cross. Pretty much work the same way in reverse, and I'll show you how that happens. Take the first stitch that we have here. Now before the first stitch that we had, we held it in the back. This one we're going to hold in the front, and then we're going to purl this stitch on here on the left needle. Purl that one first, then bring our yarn to the back, bring our cable needle forward, and then we're knitting the stitch off of the cable needle. Like that. And so now what we have created is a cross going this way, and we have the 2 bumps in the middle. It's kind of hard to see right now. We have the 2 purl bumps in the middle right here and right here. And then these go out to the side, and that's giving us definition to the center of the heart pattern in the lace. So right here is where we're working. We're going this way, and then we have the purl bumps right here in the center. That's all this on the outside of our heart. As we're working along, we're purling these stitches. That's called reverse stockinette because it's the reverse side of stockinette that's facing out. If I flip this over, you'll see all these knit stitches. So that's what that's called. It's on this side you see knitted stitches, and on this side you see the purl stitches. It's called reverse stockinette. So that's just some more lingo there that you might hear every now and then, and that's what it means. It's just the purl side is on the right side. Okay, let's put that beauty over there. The rest of everything on this chart you know how to do now. Those are the only little different tricky things that we do. You go ahead and you finish that up. You repeat your chart over and over. As soon as you finish row 18, you go right back here to row 1 and you start again. Continue that on. Follow your pattern. At the end, you'll do some border stitches back to seed stitch. Then you bind off. And then comes the fun part. You weave in your ends and block. And I really want to go over blocking with you on this because it's a lace pattern. And it's so very, very important to block lace. And I want to give you some examples to show you. I made these for you, just for you. This is a little swatch of the lace pattern. It is not blocked, it's straight off the needles, just a little, see how it's curly, it's not pretty. Now look at this. Ta-da! Isn't that beautiful? So by blocking, it goes from this little swatch right here to this right here. Like, if that isn't a reason to block this scarf, I don't know what is. But it just makes it so much more beautiful when you do that. And it allows that pattern to open up. You can really see the definition of the stitches. And so for this one, I really recommend blocking. I'm using the Mindful blocking mats and blockers. And these little comb things makes it great. So you soak your work for 15 to 30 minutes in some wool wash. Eucalan is what we prefer. And then you roll it up in a towel. And remember, we don't wring it. We want to wick that water out of there instead of distorting our stitches. And then for this sample, I just pinned each side. I got it as much even as I could. It was a little tiny swatch, so like that. Now, on your scarf, these they're like puzzle pieces. There's 12 in a pack. And you can interlock them together like puzzle pieces all the way down and do your whole scarf that way. If for some reason you make if you want to make your scarf longer, if you're taller and you need a longer scarf, you may want to add another ball of yarn to your order so that you can have a little bit extra to make it longer. And then also too, you might need 2 sets of these, or do half of it, let it dry, move it over, and do the other half. Whatever works for you, but block, block, block. Thank you so much for joining me for the Libi Lace Scarf and Hat Knit Along. I hope you enjoyed learning how to read the chart. Join me in episode 2, where we'll go over knitting this chart in the round and make this adorable hat. Thank you so much and happy knitting.